Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss M3GAN, starring Allison Williams and Violet McGraw and directed by Gerard Johnstone. As none of the other characters mattered, and what is the difference between... I watched both the theatrical and the unrated version. What's the difference? One of the unrated version is more blood and more F words, whereas they say it, I think, once in this movie. But anyways, but yeah, they're going to get away with more than just one or two at this point for a PG-13 rated movie. So I'm going to keep this show PG-13 for this review. I'll just say that much. So I do remember going to theaters for this thing, and it probably might be the same opinion I have now. Let's see what I'm talking about. Let's get into the movie. We open with a commercial which will give people the wrong idea about having a dog who got old and died, as this commercial is advertising the worst product called Perpetual Pets, as their eyes are creepy and can talk as well as take photographs, while Katie, played by Violet McGraw, has one of and witnesses her parents getting into an accident with a truck hitting them and killing them, which was too dramatic as the audience moves on to Gemma, played by Get Out's Allison Williams, tries to create a new toy that looks human/robot called M3GAN, until her boss David comes in and acts like a jackass to Gemma, and so does this assistant Kurt. As she demonstrates M3GAN and it breaks down, and Gemma hears about Katie as her parents died, so she has to be her guardian, as I don't like the characters as I can't relate with Gemma and Katie, which we will hang out with most of the movie, and her coworkers are idiots, while David and Kurt come off like jackasses. Gemma brings her niece Katie to her house as her neighbor's dog scares the crap out of Katie. And why does his neighbor just put the dog on a damn leash, as he keeps running on her side of the fence, and she spent $80 for a new fence, which looks half-assed, as she's trying to find excuses for herself a way out. And I had a neighbor that like that once, and that was an unacceptable experience, as this neighbor comes off unacceptable. And Gemma gives Katie the space, and she cries because of how it's a new house and a new experience for her. And Gemma, and next day comes, and a therapist named Lydia comes to Gemma's house and play with her toys, in which she designed for work. While it gets awkward, and this is an awkward movie in my opinion as far as the acting is concerned. And the cinematography looks good in this movie, but the shots are pretty to look at, as I'll give the movie that. Katie comes into Gemma's room and sees she's working on M3GAN and gets introduced to Bruce, which is a giant robot that wasn't so successful to cast, and saying if she had a new toy like that, she'll never ask for another toy ever again, which feels unrealistic, as she finishes M3GAN and introduces it to David, involving Katie meeting M3GAN for the first time. And the eyes on M3GAN really freaked me out on the poster, and she looks kind of creepy if I were to be honest with you guys, as she makes a piece of art for Katie, and David is impressed, and he wants to show the board of directors, as he's super excited, David the boss, I mean. And I took notes on the unrated cut, and I've noticed more F-bombs, in which I can't go too far with it, because this is a PG-13 rated movie, and the fact they're playing it too damn safe is baffling, and this should have been an R-rated movie. I mean, that's how inappropriate this movie is for kids. M3GAN overhears that Gemma said about death, and M3GAN continues the conversation until Gemma turns her off, as she looks outside and sees Katie playing with, until Katie is missing an arrow, and M3GAN tries to get it back from the neighbor's fence until the dog attacks M3GAN, and Katie gets rabies, and the neighbor says this wouldn't have happened if she fixes the fence. And I'm like, oh please, the dog goes on Gemma's side of the property because you can't put a damn leash on it. She calls the cops to put the dog down, and M3GAN kills the doggy pretending to be the neighbor. And next morning, the neighbor looks for the dog, and Katie has a fever as she's part of the demonstration Gemma makes that day. And the problem is the writing was flat. And the dialogue fell flat, too. The board of directors see Katie sad and M3GAN cheering her up and keeps a memory of her mother and M3GAN so she can remember how funny it was. And M3GAN sings a song to Katie, and the board of directors are in tears and applaud this presentation. And Gemma and David talk with the board of directors, Greg, I believe is his name, while Kurt gets some files behind David's back. And Gemma tries to talk with Katie about how sad she was, and Katie is obsessed with M3GAN at this point, while she sees Celia. I don't think that's her name off the top of my head, but I forget. The therapist, I'll just call her for the rest of the show. Or Lydia, that's her name. Lydia, the therapist, as M3GAN sees she made Katie cry, and Lydia gets a tissue for her, and the acting in this is so far flat. Gemma tries to put Katie at school and have a private conversation until M3GAN interferes with them, and Gemma takes Katie to the school and develops social skills, and she makes one of the parents named Holly, whose kid named Brandon is a little a-hole, as he teams up with Katie and pokes her hand in a plant until M3GAN comes in and tries to flick her and makes her say something as he steals her and beats up on her, and she crawls up and teaches Brandon some manners as M3GAN pulls on his ear and he runs, and she follows him like she's a horse, and Brandon gets ran over by a car and killed. And they played this scene rather too damn safe because remember, this is a PG-13 rated movie. While Gemma's neighbor calls a cop asking Gemma has she seen the dog, and I hate this neighbor character as she comes off obnoxious to me. M3GAN sings Fire Away to Katie to make her fall asleep, which was laughable and absolutely stupid. And next thing you know, M3GAN kills the neighbor with a tool she used earlier in the film, as well as a staple gun, while she was looking for the dog, and the cops ask Gemma if she knows who killed the neighbor. And Gemma gets interrogated by the cops while at night. Gemma sees if M3GAN is moving or not, and Gemma checks the footage of what happened to Brandon, and M3GAN erases the footage as she's becoming AI, and she comes in and chats with Gemma about how nothing is wrong. Did M3GAN kill Brandon? And she responds with if she did, they'll get in a lot of trouble, and puts M3GAN in the trunk and tests if she's capable of harm, while Katie goes to the therapist. Lydia, that's her name. And she overreacts with while Gemma is worried for Katie's safety, even if she doesn't know it. And this is too melodramatic. Like, is this the best Blumhouse can do? Because it's kind of bad. Gemma sees how much she matters to Katie, and Gemma comes in and Katie slaps Gemma without knowing what she has done, as she doesn't mean it, and Gemma makes Katie feel better and takes her home, while she calls one of the co-workers, and M3GAN is the one who answered it and shuts down the computer and locked out the co-workers as she's gone rogue and AI and goes in the hallways to find David and dances, which I did like that scene, but unfortunately it's not enough to entertain me, and his death was pretty dumb. And same with Kurt's death, as I found this preposterous. M3GAN escapes the building and hacks into a car while Gemma and Katie get home and rest up until M3GAN breaks into the house, and her system, as she plays the piano, and Gemma knows M3GAN killed people and tells Gemma to sit and attacks Katie. She attacks Gemma, and Katie hears them talking and continuously attacking Gemma. And eventually Gemma fights back and strangles her neck and fights it off as Katie sees M3GAN as evil, and Gemma tries to destroy M3GAN, but rips her hair off as she rips Gemma's hair off. And Gemma is telling Katie to get out of the room, but Katie comes in and brings out Bruce to beat up on M3GAN and rips her apart. And M3GAN almost beats up on Katie and chokes the life out of Gemma, but they beat M3GAN, and the cops come by the house as there's another robot out there that will do the worst things that M3GAN does, which will be brought up in the sequel based on the trailers for that movie. And the climax was bad, as it shocked me. It got positive ratings, but does it deserve it? let's talk about it in a rating. I'll give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. I don't like any of the characters, as some of them come off like idiots and jackasses and unrelatable. And this is an awkward movie, in my opinion, as far as the acting is concerned. And I'll give the movie this: the cinematography looks good on as the shots are pretty to look at, as well as M3GAN dancing. But unfortunately, M3GAN's eyes really creeped me out, as she looks creepy and it feels half-assed. And this is a PG-13 rated movie, and the fact they're playing it too damn safe is baffling. And this should have been an R-rated movie based on the unrated cut. I mean, that's how inappropriate this movie is for kids. The problem is the writing was flat, as the dialogue falls flat, and does the acting, in which falls super flat, and the death scenes are played pretty damn safely, because remember, this is a PG-13 rated movie. As M3GAN singing to Katie was laughable and absolutely stupid, and this movie is melodramatic. Is this the best Blumhouse can do? Because it's kind of bad. I did like the dance moves by M3GAN, but it's not enough for me to entertain, nor can I recommend this movie to anyone. And I don't have a choice but to give it a mild non-recommendation, because the acting is bad, the movie is flat and very unconvincing, but after the way this movie ended, it makes sense on why there's a sequel, plus another robot. But at the end of the day, I don't want to watch this again, as I was really shocked it got positive ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and this doesn't deserve it. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time we'll be back with M3GAN 2.0. And until then, don't miss M3GAN.